really want this to be off the shoulder. Can you just stay off the shoulder? Hey hoodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Grab a coffee, grab a beverage, grab your pen, whatever you need to get through a longer video. Today is gonna be my 5,000 subscriber celebration. Ask me anything. On October 26th, I hit 5,000 subscribers, which is bananas. So thank you all for subscribing to me. I really, really appreciate it. It feels really cool to have hit 5,000 subscribers. Like, it really, really does. And obviously I can't subscribe to myself over 5,000 times, so I didn't do this alone. While I do the work on my end to make content for you, I can't subscribe to myself, you know, all of those things. Anyway, I asked some questions on my Instagram and here on my YouTube community tab. Thank you all for your questions. If I don't answer your questions, it's nothing personal. I have no idea how long this is going to be, so vibing. I thought that this would be a great Sunday video. I've never worn these two earrings at the same time. It's going to be a lot of me pretending it's my hair and then a lot of that clinking noise and a lot of the chair squeaking. Anyway, I bet my beverage of choice today is a Summit Diet Cola. If you know, you know. This one seemed the most appropriate to answer first. So I was asked, how does it feel to reach 5,000 subscribers? It feels really good. Doing YouTube is a difficult task, especially for people who are working and then also fitting this into their lives, because this is a lot of work itself, and depending on how much content you put out, and that's not to say that if you put out less or more content that there's any like change of value of you as a YouTuber, but to do this and like make as many videos as some people who do this full time, but with much less time because I also work full time, another job, it's nice to see my work paying off. I do claim that like I do all of the work, and the reason that you subscribe, whether or not you were sent to me from another creator, that the reason that you stayed is because of what I'm doing, not just because that person referred you to me. But like also I have had some help along the way, like, you know, Hannah shouting me out got me like my first leap, then becoming friends with Kackie has just been incredible and also got me more subscribers, you know, from us just always being in each other's business. It feels really good. The unfortunate part about like hitting a milestone is like you hit it and then your brain immediately goes to the next one. So it's like my brain is already like, how do I get to 10K? And that's not really where I'm feeling, but like even in the comment section of like, I wrote like, you know, thank you 5K in my community tab, someone said, now to 10,000. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it feels, where it's just like, okay, we did it. Let's move on. I do try really hard to like live in the fact that like 5,000 people is a lot of people. And if I was in a room with every single one of my subscribers, I would be very overwhelmed. I'm excited, and I also feel like validated. A lot of you are you comment a lot, you like a lot, you engage with me a lot. So I really appreciate that, because that also helps me in the algorithm and all of those things. But like for a very long time, it felt like I was shouting into the void. I would say up until like around the time Hannah shouted me out the first time, it felt like I was really shouting into a void, which was like a year and a half ago, or like almost, I think it was 2 years ago at this point. And so like it just has built and built and built again over and over again. And I just really appreciate it, actually. So it feels very nice. I'm very proud of myself for keeping up with it. I am someone who, like, if something doesn't work out over a period of time, I will just quit. But I've never felt along the way as I've done this that I was not going to be here either. Like, not really as a brag, but it was just like, I'm working for it. And things keep happening, whether I would get like one new subscriber a day or whether my video would get less views. The next video would get way more than the other video before that video. You know, it's just like, it's perpetuating itself. But like, I have definitely tried things in my life where like it didn't work out very quickly, and I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I've been at this now very seriously for like 2 years. 2021, after I quit Sephora, was when I really started actually making content regularly. And then like the tail end of 2021 was really whenever like I was in motion, you know, like really, really trying hard. It also makes like 10,000 doesn't feel impossible anymore. Whereas like 2 years ago, me thinking that I would ever hit 10,000 was like that could never happen. But now it's like, no, it's gonna, you know, I just know. Someone said this. Do you know how brave you are? You're in a beauty space that isn't always so nice. I love watching your videos. Thank God you're changing the world one viewer at a time. Well, thank you. I actually do really appreciate those words because I'm not the bravest person on YouTube and I'm not going to try to claim that, right? But like as like a trans non-binary person, I definitely feel like there is like some hesitancy as I continue to grow when people who aren't part of this find me and how easily they're going to dismiss just me as a person. I've only had like a handful of like transphobic comments so far, and most of the stuff that ends up happening ends up on my short form content because I think that just finds the wrong people faster. I've only had like one or two comments on one of my videos that were like very bad and I just delete them. I delete them and then I block the person from my channel. I do have like fears as the channel continues to grow that is something that inevitably I'm gonna see more of because more people are seeing me. So I'm ready for that. Like I can't say like I know exactly how I'm going to handle it, but like it's something that I'm cognitive of. So I do appreciate that, but there are also, you know, other people who are very brave on this platform, but I appreciate the words. Someone asked, give us the DL on working at Sephora, the good, the bad, and the ugly if you're able to dish on this. So this is part one of two parts of this question. A lot of you are newer. I did this video in I think I did it in 2021, like 9 months after I quit. So I did a why I quit Sephora video. It's very long, but I do talk about all the reasons I liked working there and all the reasons I didn't. And it's not like a vicious cut down. I really loved working at Sephora. I do have complaints about working there. And what happened was my time at Sephora just needed to end. I don't hold any like ill will. There was certainly a time where I did. I waited until I was past that time to make that video so I could talk about it with like a clearer head. If I would have made that video right after I quit, I think it would have turned out a lot different. It would have been one of those like very negative videos, and I don't want anyone to think that my time at Sephora was very negative. But like also I have qualms with the brand too. So it's just like it can go both ways. So I'll put that in the cards for you. I'll put that up there. And so check that out if you would like to. How did you transition from doing makeup for a Halloween costume to wanting to wear it every day to creating this channel? I love your content. So, well, thank you. Learning to do drag makeup for Halloween, which is like the background story is I was Bianca Del Rio for Halloween one year and I was learning how to do it all myself, which in a 3-month time period is like a very short amount of time to like figure out how to do drag without the assistance of a drag queen or like a drag parent or drag mother walking me through that process. So I was doing everything from like learning online, which a lot of people do at this point whenever they're learning how to do drag. My favorite part of doing drag, because I was, you know, I did dress up. I like wore a garment, wore a wig. I had help with the wig. Thank God. Thank you, Kirsten. Kirsten did that wig. I bought like a very cheap wig and she made it look like not the cheapest wig I could have bought, so I appreciate her. My favorite part of doing drag was always the application process of makeup. So it's kind of like this. Whenever I played the flute for 10 years when I was younger, I played it through high school, but I like took private lessons. I liked playing the flute. It wasn't like, you know, there are kids who are in band who just like they would rather be in band than like, I guess, another thing. That wasn't me. I like was invested in playing music. One time I was talking to my flute teacher, like my personal flute teacher. Her name is Gay. I love her so much. I have actually had dinner with her as an adult. Like she's very formative, whether or not she knows that. I was talking to Gay one night and I was like, hey, I always feel like after I play the flute that like I feel so much better. And she was like, it's because it's an active, like if you have a lot of anxiety or something, or if you're feeling stressed out, or you're like your blood pressure is high or whatever, not blood pressure, but like your heart's beating quickly and you just like need to calm down, playing an instrument that requires you to breathe, it helps because what it does is it makes you focus on your breathing. It requires you to, because you're playing, you have to like play the instrument and you also have to breathe to continue to play the instrument. So therefore you are looking for specific places to breathe. It ends up being cathartic. There's catharsis in that. And I find that applying makeup requires focus. You're looking at something, you're making sure it's blended out, you're drawing a winged liner, like, right, you know, it's all kind of focused. So anything that would be distracting you while you're doing makeup just kind of goes away. And I feel like I felt that very early on whenever I was like learning how to do makeup. I bought a bunch of makeup. Like I had all this makeup, and thank God I liked the process of putting on the makeup, or I would have just been done. I would have spent hundreds of dollars, because yeah, even though I was buying drugstore at the time, I wasn't like, you know, the luxury bougie bitch that you see before you today. it was like I was buying like NYX and stuff to pull this together because I was like, I'm never going to use this makeup again. That turned out not to be true. But I'm glad I went in with that. But I still spent a lot of money trying to figure out what products would work for what I needed them to do, doing drag one time. And it was just like, well, thank God I can continue to use this makeup. And like, obviously my taste and stuff evolved over time. But a lot of the makeup I used at first, I ended up using all the way up. Not like eyeshadows, but like foundations, mascara. Like, you know, I was running through products. So that's why I kept doing it. The reason that led me to the channel, it's so funny. I just talked about all of this on a podcast. So, you know, please go listen to that podcast when it comes out. Not one of my own podcasts. I was invited to be on a podcast called Turning Looks. I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know when it goes live. After I left Sephora, I realized that beauty was still my calling. And like, after you watch that video on Sephora, you'll understand that like, I always wanted to like work full time at Sephora, but like, go watch the video to like learn more about that. I needed to work in the beauty industry without being someone who applies makeup or is like working face to face with people. I don't like that. I like customer services. I'm not built for that. And I also like to do my makeup. I don't really like doing makeup on other people. How do I keep working in beauty, or how do I keep my love of beauty alive and relevant in my life in such a way? And so that's really how the channel got started, is I just like missed, after like a month or two of not working at Sephora any longer, I was like, I need to still be talking about beauty. Just, I need it to be for me. And so that's kind of like when my channel started back up, because I started my YouTube channel back in like 2017 or something like that. I didn't really start doing it. Like, there are videos sporadically from then until 2021, but like, you'll notice like if you look at my like video history, that 2021 is like where it really started. And I also like have archived a lot of my old videos, because it's like, who knew what I was saying back then? Not that I think I said anything harmful, by the way. It's just more like, is that still relevant to me? And it's like, before there were a bunch of eyes on me, it was like better to just kind of get rid of it. I'd love to know your religious or spiritual beliefs. Not a political thing. I just love to hear what people think about the whys and whens of the universe. Congrats, Tom. Thank you. I'm not a very religious or even like a spiritual person. On a very like base level, I try to like put good intentions out to receive the good intentions back. The reason I'm not religious is because I have found that what I think religion is supposed to be, and how not all people who practice religion, so I'm not saying this about everyone, but how religion is being used as a tool against certain people. And all religion, I feel like it's like not just one religion. It's not just Christianity. I feel like it happens in a lot of religions, where it's like religion was kind of, I think, for many people, to be like a guide on how to be a good person. And then it's just like people that make up new rules for about what religion actually is, and then how we can suppress people who are different. And I don't understand that. That's why I don't practice religion. Again, I can't emphasize enough that I know a lot of people who are incredibly religious who are not like that at all. It's just, you know, it's when something gets taken out of context almost. Like, I like, whenever I see someone who says that they're a Christian and then they're like, they do bad things, they're racist, transphobic, homophobic, it's like, I don't understand you. Like, you clearly aren't following that. So like, I try my best to be a good person, and I try my best to be very open-minded and like learn a lot about people. But like, as far as like, I'm like, you know, I kind of feel energy, you know, like I kind of feel that, but it's not like, I'm not like a rock, like I don't have like stones or anything like that. And I'm not trying to diminish anyone who like does stones, who does astrology, or like anything like that. Like, I think however people need to navigate this world, and whatever helps them make sense of the world, is really great, as long as they're not harming themselves or other people, which is kind of like the baseline, right? I try my best to keep my morals, and like sometimes, like in extreme situations, I will ask the universe for signs. It's been a really long time. I mean, not to get into it, but like, it was maybe like a year or so, like about a year or so. I remember like crying in bed and like crying out to the universe. And I was like, just like, take care of this person. And I've been doing it a little more recently in light of what's going on, too. Like, I've done it. So I'm not super spiritual, but like, I'm not spiritual either, right? It's just like, I don't know what to call it. It's just like, when I need it, when it tends to be when I'm on extremes. Like, I will, like, when I'm very grateful, I will think something. You know, I'm not even talking to a god or a god. I just, like, you know, close my eyes and I just, like, think that, like, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Like, if anyone is listening to my thoughts, know that I'm very grateful, you know? And then also, whenever things are very bad, not only for me, but for some other people who, like, might be very extreme things going on, it's like, please take care of these people. Please end their stuff, you know, all of that kind of thing. So, I got a little deep, guys. I'm scared to ask, but you can ignore it if you don't want to talk about it. What's your day job? Do you dress up femme for your day job? I'm non-binary too, and I really want to dress in jaundice for work. It's a screenshot, so it says read more, and I didn't open it, so I apologize. But I think the rest of it is talking about how they can't be themselves at work. I don't talk about my real job on the internet. That's not for you. So to answer this person's question, I work from home full time. So I don't go into an office ever at all. At Sephora, I had a uniform, and that would have been the place where I would have done that if I was presenting, you know, more androgynous in the way that I would have been. But it was like I was wearing a uniform. So I was wearing the smock, which is like for women. When I worked at Sephora, like they had garments for men. And if you're visually impaired, I'm putting air quotes around these things just in case you can't see them. I've never had to like do that. I sometimes have on meetings, I'll be wearing makeup, but I don't wear like a lot of makeup during the day, if at all, because I start work at the crack of dawn. I start work at 6 a.m. So it's like I don't want to wake up to do my makeup to sit at a computer most of the day. But like whenever it's like Halloween or Christmas or something, I'll sometimes will do my makeup because we will do like a team building event where it's like meant to be fun like that. I don't really have advice for how to do this because it all depends on your comfortability and like where you live in the world and like what your coworkers are like. If I had to work in an office, like if I had to work in a place, like if I had to go to a place for work, I would dress however I was going to dress at this point. And the reason is I can't turn this off anymore. Now, there's a lot to be said about code switching. There's many different ways to code switch. There's a lot of different people for different reasons will code switch, but I can't do it anymore. I don't even remember ever trying to code switch my voice, but like this is my voice. This is the sound of my voice. If I tried to make my voice sound more masculine at this point, I don't even know what that is, and I don't know how long I'd be able to do it. And I don't have like I haven't had to do it for so long. It's not something I can just like turn on. I don't buy or have clothes anymore that I don't feel like I identify with. So if someone was asking me to come into an office, I'd be like, I'm gonna dress how I'm gonna dress. So like I'm not gonna, just because I was assigned a certain sex at my birth doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to wear what you think those people should wear. And that's a matter of standing up for yourself. And I also wouldn't want to work for a place that wouldn't allow me to be myself. I do feel as though if I had to work in an office, like if that were to be required of me, like if they said, and God, they better not. I've told them so many times, I'm like, I'll quit this job so fast if you make me work in an office. And they know that. Don't mess with me because I will. Working with other people, politics, meaning like just like I'm talking about like office culture, but like anything, you know, even like when I worked in retail, it's just like the idea of where like the people are. It's not always the work that is bad. It's like the people you work with. Some of them, not all of them, make your life miserable, and you hate working with them. You hate when your shifts align with that person, and this just takes it out of it. Like I don't talk to these people, and I don't want them to be my friends, and I don't want them to know more about me than they already do. Anyway. That's aside. But I do think that if I had to work in the office, they would be okay with how I would be presenting myself, because it's like I don't not look put together in the way that I do dress. So I'm sorry that you can't be your full authentic self at work. And I don't know if there's any places around you, like if you were looking for a new job. Obviously, you know, I don't know how much money you make, et cetera, what's feasible and what's not. But like perhaps there is another company doing the same thing that you do, making the same amount of money or more, where you could be yourself 100%. So I want that for you. I don't turn off Tom anymore. They're just who they are, unfortunately. For better or for worse, actually. How do you predict your channel philosophy or approach will change by 500,000 subscribers? And see if you're right when you get there. Well, thank you for the vote of confidence for 500,000 subscribers. I still hope that I'm doing conscious consumerism. I would feel really weird for me to flip on that. I think that as my channel grows and opportunities happen, because that's what happens, right? Your channel grows, you get more opportunities. That means you start getting more PR. You have more money to funnel back into your channel because you're making more money on it. You get sponsorships if you take those. You know, there's a lot of things that change as your channel grows. Anyone doing whatever they're doing on YouTube, the vibe is gonna change, right? That, you know, because their lifestyle is going to change. Like, if you make more money and you start living more comfortably, you move into a bigger space, you, like, you know, whatever. And I'm not even talking about like moving into like a mansion or whatever. Just like, you know, right now I'm recording in the basement of a house that my brother owns. And like, I would say by 500,000 subscribers, I'm probably not gonna be living in the basement of a house that my brother owns. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, inevitably there's going to be a shift and change, and like, you know, it happens, right? And like, you know, people will talk about beauty guru chatter. I don't want to own more, and I've talked about this all the time. I never want to own more makeup than can fit in these Alex drawers. I think what will happen is we'll start seeing, like, as more opportunities happen and I get to try more makeup, or by purchasing or you buy PR, it'll be more cutthroat because there's only so much space and there's a lot more makeup to manage. I do think you'll probably see more reviews as my channel continues to grow, because I will just, you know, again, have more opportunities. I think these things, right, and who knows if that's how it'll turn out. I get offered more PR than I take. That's not me trying to brag or like make a statement about what I do, but just know that like I have declined PR because it didn't align with like what I'm trying to do on my channel or align with what I want. I won't accept PR that I don't think I will like, right? I don't want to ever like review things for the sake of just shit talking on them. Like, I still want to be discerning about what I open up. Like, I envision me not opening a lot of PR and like ending up donating most of it, because like there's no way that I'm going to be interested in trying it all. The only way that I would try something that I didn't like would be if it was like overwhelming from my audience that they would want me to try it. But I still want to do like a let's play with makeup. I still hope that some of the makeup products that I have used now are still in my makeup collection, because they're still the best of the best, and whether or not they are discontinued or not, you can get them, I still want to be using them, because like I want to love the makeup that I have still, even as I grow. And I also think, you know, my relationship to makeup is also going to change, you know, at 500,000 subscribers. But I keep thinking about how I wish I had more time. You know, I always wish I had more time. At 500,000 subscribers, I probably wouldn't be working my full-time day job that I work now. So I'll be able to wear makeup more, and that way, like, reviews will be able to happen faster, because I like to be really discerning about my reviews. I like to give everything a good amount of time, but like, I don't put makeup on every day, and I don't have the time to. And also, like, when I do makeup for fun, to do something that isn't YouTube or that isn't solely to test, because I do put makeup on to test things when I have a lot to test. But like, if I'm doing makeup to go out, I'm not going to use the stuff that I don't know how it works, because I want my makeup to look good when I'm doing things. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, all that to be said, I think the philosophy will be relatively the same. I'm still going to be just as ruthless to brands. I want to be as ruthless to brands. Like, critical sass will probably like always be like a staple of the channel. And I still want to do, like, I don't know, you all really liked when I was doing the talking you out of things that you wanted at the Sephora sale. Like, people had asked me to do it for Black Friday, which we're going to do. So anyway, you know, I think the content's going to stay not exactly the same. There's content that I have like in my brain that I don't have the time to make. When I have that time will be when we start exploring other things. And it's all the content that I want to have more time to do is all about using what I have too, but it's just a little more involved than what I have time for now. I just think that the scale will get bigger. My life will look a little bit different, you know, and that's kind of exciting, you know, for me at least. What kind of culture did you grow up in? It was very suburban, very white suburban. I grew up like 30 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, so it was like on the verge of being rural, but not quite. You know, like, it's not quite that far out of the city. But like, you know, everything was safe. You know, I had to be home before the streetlights came on, kind of thing. Latchkey, very, very that. Like, it's not different than that. It just is that. That's the kind of life I had. They asked, I don't know what my Venus sign is, but my big 3R is I am a Scorpio, the main one. I'm a Sagittarius rising, and I'm a Capricorn moon. I think that's what it is. Those are the 3 signs. Scorpio is definitely the main one. Star, sun, who knows. Favorite movie ever? Spice World. Song that you're obsessed with right now? Oh no, because there's 2. There are 2 that come to mind. One is fun. One is not fun. I should just speak my truth. It's Now That We Don't Talk by Taylor Swift, from Taylor's 1989 Taylor's version, the vault track. It's just kind of, actually, it was rude. I heard that song and I was like, I started crying very hard. Just, you know, favorite meal, chicken parm. And if it's a chicken parm sandwich, also acceptable. How did you become Riot's human buddy? I'm gonna combine these two questions. Do you like cats, or I guess animals in general? Do I have pets, or have I had pets? Have I had pets? Yes, I've had dogs growing up. Like from the time I was like a teenager until now, there's always been a dog in my life, whether it's my dog or like a family dog. There's always been dogs. There's always been a dog or maybe two. I don't dislike cats. I'm very allergic to cats. I can only be in a space that where cats live for like so long. And the thing is, I like them. So when they want to be pet, like if they come near me, I will pet them. And then immediately I'll touch my eye. And then immediately it's a mess. It's a disaster. Tiffany has had a pet cat. The cat is still alive. It was just a matter of how we would make things work. And the cat's well taken care of, by the way. Like we didn't just, the cat is still in the space that the cat lived in. It would have been hard because the cat's old, to acclimate to a new space with a dog. But like before Tiffany moved, I like went over there one day to like help them pack some stuff. And I was there like all day. And by the end of the day, I would say like maybe around like 8 or 9 hours, I like looked at Tiffany. I was like, I can't breathe anymore. So I have to go. And then I had to come home and I had to like shower, and then I had to like do some nasal spray. Like it's just I'm allergic to cats. How did I become Riot's human buddy? I did buy Riot. I wouldn't buy a pet again. I was very hell-bent on having I've never had a dog at like 8 weeks old. Like, I never had like a puppy. The youngest dog I think we ever brought in was about 6 months old. And even by that point, 6 months is so different from 8 weeks, and they're like not, they don't have the puppy face. Here's the thing. I didn't like that phase. I wouldn't do that again. Having a small puppy is like very hard. I was like not ready for that. And anytime someone gets a dog, if I hear tell that someone's gonna get a puppy for their family, I'd go, don't get a puppy. Get a 1-year-old, don't get a puppy. And I would adopt. I just had this vision of like having a dog from when they're like baby. Riot is 8 years old. She'll be 9 in April. I feel like I can't believe people have to ask me if I have a pet, but I also do it to kind of protect myself. And this is just a moment of sharing, right? And this isn't to be depressing. I don't want you all to have a parasocial relationship with my dog, because inevitably there will be a time where my dog passes, where she dies. And I don't want to have to console you or hear it from you. Like, it's such a weird thing. I think a lot, I really am trying to like set myself up for as much success as I continue to grow. And I think, when Riot passes, that's something that me and all of the people who know Riot in real life, that's like a time for us to mourn. That's not a time for like us to, like me to mourn with you. And while you are my community, you're like not part of Riot's life. And it would be really weird. Like, obviously you will find out when that moment happens. Like, I'm going to share that information, but I don't want you all to cry. I don't want, like, of course, it always is such a bummer when you hear someone's pet dies. But like, the more emotionally attached you are to content creators' pets, like the more, and I don't want that from everyone. So my relationship with Riot, much like my relationship with like other people, is my own relationship. It's not our relationship. I'm not welcoming you into that. And that's not to be rude. It's just, I think, to protect your feelings and my feelings whenever something would happen. What is a piece of advice you have for anyone struggling with self-doubt? I think almost 100% of the time, living authentically, whatever that looks like for you, is going to be much happier in the end than doubting what that should or can look like. And living authentically will look different at different points of your life. I feel like when I was 22, I was living authentically. What I was doing then and what my morals were then are very different, but I was living them out loud. And I do that still now to this day. And I think I'd be very miserable if I wasn't doing that. It is really hard to navigate space and space with other people in it confidently, especially if you feel like you're othered. However, you get power in living like that authentic way, if that makes sense. Like, the more open I am, the more people that follow me, being a trans non-binary person by myself would be scarier than being a trans non-binary person with 5,000 people here that believe in me and what I do. And the only way that I have gotten to these 5,000 people is by kind of pushing self-doubt to the side and really doing what I want and what I think is best for me. Again, all within like trying not to hurt other people. You know, all those rules still apply, hurting myself or other people. Confidence is fake. And I think I do believe that. There are times where I have chosen not to be paralyzed by fear just because I was like, I need to keep living my life. I can't keep doubting all of the choices and things and whatever. Because if I don't try, then I won't know. Right? And I think you regret things you don't do. I think you very rarely regret things that you do. Like, if you do the thing, there's some kind of value that comes out of it, even if it doesn't work out. Influencers you to invite to a dinner party. Well, Kackie, Hannah. I want to meet Hannah, Laura May Beauty, Nima Tang, Cam. I don't know. Like, I'm, you know, I'll meet Michelle Wong. I don't know. What's my limit? How many people can I invite? I would love to meet all of them. What is the funniest experience about being a YouTuber? What I'm actually doing right now, like in the real time, I'm sitting in my bedroom that you see a very specific angle of whenever you see it, with very specific lighting from there, you know what I mean? And I am talking to a camera, and there ain't a goddamn soul in this house but me. Unless there's a spirit. And if there is a spirit, they haven't really made themselves known, and I would like it to stay that way. Should there be a spirit here listening to me? But yeah, I'm talking to a Sony, what is this thing? A5100 or something like that? I don't know. Someone asked me about my tech and I said, that's a fruitless task. I Googled things and then I started doing. Would you ever have a guest on? I think you'd be an awesome host. I would. However, and I have, by the way. My friend Sarah was on last year. She is a professional makeup artist and she did my makeup, and then we talked about the beauty industry from her perspective as a makeup artist. So if you want to check that out, you can. I also host some podcasts. It's not video, like, you know, I co-host a podcast with Kackie, but me and Tiffany host a podcast together. Here's why it's hard to do. I know how to light myself. I don't know how to light two people. And like me being able to light myself is like something I barely know how to do. So that's something that I think I've looked into it, and I also would probably need a second camera, which I don't really have like the money for a second camera right now, where I could get like different angles, because I've had Tiffany on the channel before, and I had my friend Lena on the channel before. They like did some new makeup nonsense bingos with me, and Tiffany did a video where we were just like applying makeup next to each other. Like when you watch those videos, it's like we feel really far away, and like if I zoom in, then it's like too close, you know? It's like whatever. And so like this is how I like things to be set up. Anyway, I'm not opposed to it, and but I also don't have the space for it right now. I don't have like the tools to do it in a way that would feel up to snuff for the way that this currently looks whenever we're doing this one-on-one. But if you want to hear me talk to other people in such a manner, check out Recollect, because we've also had guests who weren't us on that too. Favorite discontinued product? The Burberry contour wand thing that basically that Victoria Beckham duped. So now I have it back in my life, but that was like I really love that. Oh, I liked a lot of the Burberry stuff that I used to use. I like their brow products. I don't know if they're still the same as what I use. I know that they like kind of revamped for a second. I don't know what Burberry Beauty is doing, but that contour wand was A1. And I thank Victoria Beckham a lot for making the new version of it. What are your wildest dreams concerning your channel? My channel. Ultimate goals and hopes. What are my wildest dreams? I want it to be my full-time job. There was a point where I didn't think I wanted that, but as time has progressed, I know that's what I want, because I know I have a vision for what I would want to do. I have a lot of things that I would like to do research for. It would still be makeup, by the way. It would, but it's like I don't have the brain space after working 8 hours to do research to then film in bits or whatever. I want to get better at editing, perhaps get to the point where I could pay someone to edit. I used to really hate editing. I hated editing because here, what the reality was, I just didn't have a computer that could run the software that I was trying to run. So it was just very infuriating to edit because everything was so slow. But now that my computer, you know, runs kind of in real time as I'm editing, it's not as bad. I have tried to improve my editing, but I also would like more time to edit. Critical sass, I envision being edited more like something like that I would like to learn how to do that editing, but also that might be something that would have to be outsourced. I want to like outsource things. I can't afford to do that now. There are some things that I don't want to think about anymore. Anyway, whenever it comes to doing this, like I would love to have someone who understands financially how this is all supposed to work, because I'm really winging it right now. I do have some help from people who are professionals, but I also feel like I live in Pittsburgh and there's not going to be like an accountant here that's going to be like, you're an influencer, you should be doing ABC thing. I don't know if I want to do, I don't know if I will ever like want a manager or whatever, but anyway, so part of my vision is like being able to like pay people to do some of the thinking that I no longer want to do, and also being able to sustain myself from this. There's also some things that are like happening in real time right now. Like for a long time, up until about a couple months ago, I was like making money through YouTube, but now I'm like making like YouTube starting to pay my rent, which is pretty wild. Like that's and when I say YouTube, I mean a combination of Patreon, merch, affiliate sales, and like all of like add those together, I can pay rent monthly with it, which is like, that's just started. Like that's like a very new thing. Financially, things are shifting, which is pretty cool. I think my wildest dream right now is really to be able to have more time for this to make it better. And I'm very proud of the content that I make now. I'm not trying to say that I don't like it. If I didn't like it, it wouldn't look the way it did. You know, I wouldn't be making it. Like I don't really have like a subscriber goal or anything like that. It just for the, you know, to make enough money to sustain myself without like a regular 9 to 5 is like the biggest goal. I don't have any dreams or desires as of right now to like have my own makeup brand or anything like that. I think also my goals will change. Like when I hit that goal of being able to like do this, it'll be like, okay, here are new goals. You know, like I always will give myself something to work towards. It's just like right now it's very one track mind for me right now is that. How do you navigate criticism? I don't know that I'm like the best at this. I've received criticism in my time. It all depends on how it is approached when it's given to me. Like one time someone DM'd me privately and did not like the way that I had said something in a video, and like we talked about it and I was like, I understood why that they felt that way, and it like, you know, it's scary when someone reaches out to you like that, but I could tell that they were like not coming at me. They were giving me the space to like hear them and also understand them and also learn and then also try to be better. Like we were both giving each other the space to do that, and that felt good. That was it, you know, criticism is scary, but like that approach felt very nice. Sometimes people come at you sideways in comments, and it's like, you know, very public. Like whenever I see something where it's like critical of something I said or me, I think about it a lot. And I try to sort whether or not I think that I agree with that person. Because like one time someone got mad at me because it was specifically in the contour video. Someone was like, I can't believe you ranked the Victoria Beckham contour first whenever your favorite one was the one in Intuition. When throughout that whole video I said, this is a very arbitrary rating system. It doesn't necessarily mean that my favorite one is the one that's going to win. And I was just like, were you watching the video? And so a lot of the times when I see a critique, it tends to be someone didn't watch all of the content and like missed the context somewhere, or they just decided to like enter ready to say something. But I don't mind criticism if it depends on the approach, you know, like it depends on the approach. So I kind of disregard criticism that I feel like is being said to me in a way where they have no expectations of me hearing, and they also don't want to give me the time and space to improve. Like, you know, because that's often what happens. Like normally criticism is like someone's just kind of telling you off, and then and it's not even really criticism at that point. They think it is, but it's just kind of like they kind of like say something pretty snarky, and then they say like, I'm never gonna watch your channel again, and then they just kind of go away. It's like, okay, so if you're trying to get me to improve, you going away and not making sure that, or trying to see if I am taking what you say to heart, it's like, what was the point of that? You know? What is the best part about being in the part of the YouTube universe? I guess like being considered as part of the YouTube universe. When a brand that I'm interested in reaches out to me, oh boy, I'm like, I've made enough of Splash that you think I can bring you money? It's kind of funny. Like, it's still strange to me. Like, I'm like, I only have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And, like, I don't really use Instagram in the same fashion. Like, I use it in correlation with my YouTube. But, like, my Instagram is really for, like, fart noises. It's how I feel about my Instagram. I just feel like that's what it is. Making friends with people that I've watched, like, being friends with Kackie, being friends with Hannah, you know, like, that's pretty cool. It's actually very cool. The fact that Surat, which is a brand that I rode hard for that foundation for a long time, and then they were like, hey you, would you like to try a lot of things from the brand? And I was like, yes. Yes, I would. That was a big moment. Okay, we're here. People see us. The brands are starting to see us. In fact, a brand that I have been very interested in trying recently sent me some PR. It hasn't arrived yet, but you'll see it when you see it. You'll know what it is when you see it, because it's like a lot of things. Also, like, I'm not gonna lie, making a little money through YouTube is pretty cool. Best part, I think, okay, let me actually answer the question. The best part is absolutely finding Kackie as a friend. Like, it absolutely is, because as Kackie and I continue to be friends and like learn more about each other and just like know each other more intimately and personally, it's like, this is a person who was very much meant to be in my life, and I was very meant to find them. Like, you know, like there's, you know, it was like in the stars for our paths to cross. When we're firing on all cylinders and we're talking to each other, it's just like the best. It's the best. I don't often have that kind of back and forth with a person. So for me to find that because of YouTube, because I exist on YouTube, is pretty crazy, you know? And that is great. Top 5 problematic faves. Azealia Banks, Roisin Murphy. Do I have 5? I don't know. Those are the 2 that come off the top of my head very quickly, so we'll just leave it at 2. Any makeup regrets, looks you wouldn't repeat, or products that were awful? Well, I've returned to the last couple things that I didn't really love. And that doesn't happen very often to me because of, you know, trying to like not bring everything into my makeup collection. So it's very rare for that to happen. But I definitely remember trying some things in the past and being like, not this. There is a look that I regret doing. It's no longer on my Instagram. I had this like purple foundation, and I like tried to paint myself to being an alien, but the purple foundation was like a little dark. Like, it was dark. It wasn't a light purple. It was like a dark purple. And like I painted my face, and there was like no intention of that being racially insensitive. But then I like looked back on it and I was like, there's a way that that could be seen as racially insensitive. So I regret that. I regret that, like, not even thinking about it. But yeah, it was not good. What's on your wish list right now, or what do you want to try in the future as far as makeup goes? Talk about clothing real quick. I want more clothes from the Ragged Priest. There's a couple other pieces from them that I would like. So I have some eyes on that. Ragged Priest made that sweater that I wore in Critical Sass. That they made that was the brand who made that, so I really like their stuff. It's very good. Makeup wise, right, it's funny because I so very rarely want an item of makeup that it doesn't seem unreasonable for me to bring it in to at least review if I'm interested in it. But there's nothing that I'm like really harping over. I want to do another brand review. I'm not secretly trying anything behind the scenes right now, since like the Makeup Forever debacle. But like that's kind of what I've been really itching to do. Like I want to get my hands in a brand, get into the vibe of a brand. Potentially it could be Lisa Eldridge next. I haven't decided whether or not that will be the case, but like that's what I'm looking into. What is your dream work in the world? So I would definitely like to be, I try to be now, but you know, as my channel continues to grow, I want to be like a very strong advocate for like LGBTQIA like rights and inclusion and things like that. Obviously, the larger my platform is, the bigger of a difference I can make. Right now, I feel like my work, as far as that goes, is visibility and acceptance of what, like, you know, non-binary trans people can look like, what they are like, because there's like, we don't have a lot of visibility. And what I really appreciate, which is something that's very interesting, is that like a lot of the people who I feel like watch my channel, I feel like fall into the demographic that often gets dismissed, and being able to understand that, when I feel like all of you who are like in that like 35 to 50 bracket very much respect me and revere me in such a way where it's like, I feel like that demographic on large doesn't. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel like my work resonates now. I feel like whenever something happens with makeup plus, you know, the LGBTQIA, like during Pride Month, you know, I being a voice in that space for that right now. But I would like my work in that to also grow. Where I can, like, you know, do fundraisers and do things financially to help people, but if I can. Would you consider a cigar rather than a cigarette for your annual smoke? In case this hasn't been covered on my channel, I don't smoke like on a regular basis, but I love a cigarette. Woo, bitch, I love a cigarette. And when I'm drunk, I love a cigarette. On my birthday, I don't think I had a whole cigarette myself. I don't recall, but I definitely like took some drags of other people's cigarettes because I was like, it's now or never. It's my birthday. I can get away with it. You know, my mom was there. She couldn't yell at me. It's my birthday. I like cigarillos, the little guys, because I don't have like the attention span to smoke a whole like honkin' a whole cigar. I love it though. There's something about the ritual of smoking that I think is cool. And whether it's and this is bad. Like, I don't want any of you to start smoking because I think it's cool, by the way. It's just like this thing in my brain. I think it has to do with the time frame I brought up. And I know it's bad for me, by the way. And I literally have like maybe a cigarette a year. There's a pack of cigarillos in this box over there. And I've had them for like a decade. I still haven't gotten through them. They're those little guys. Those little guys. The thing is, I you know, like some people will just drink socially. Like I like to smoke socially. Like if one of the cool people that I'm talking to goes out to smoke a cigarette and I'm like a little bit tipsy, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette with that person. Go smoke a cigar with that person if that's what they're offering. Like my dad smokes cigars, and you know, like on Thanksgiving or whatever. Like if I get offered a cigar, because I don't assume that I'm not gonna buy my own. But someone offers me one, I'm gonna smoke it. What brings you joy? That's like a big question, isn't it? Isn't that a big question? So many things. And so I love being silly. And that is really what brings me joy. And friendship, and like very close-knit friendship, and music, and like, you know, just like kind of all of like the regular things. But I think silliness is something that doesn't often get spoken about when people talk about like what brings them joy. And silliness is like a very big thing for me. So like if you've never seen like me and Tiffany interact on Instagram or whatever, our bond is so strong at this point. But like if Tiffany's being silly, or if I'm being silly, the other person meets them and elevates until it's just the silliest thing. Any night where we are winding down together, because sometimes it doesn't work out, like one of us will be out and the other one goes to bed, you know, like goes in bed before the other person gets home. If we are enjoying our night together, you know, we're watching some Survivor or whatever, the amount of joy and laughter that fills this house, the amount of silliness that we get up to from that, like just the whole evening up until we go to bed, is just some of my favorite, most precious time. And I really value that. I always thought of myself as someone who like wants to like live alone. And I do ultimately think that's like, you know, what I like ultimately would happen, you know. I don't know that Tiffany and I are going to live together forever, but I also don't know that we're not, you know. It's like one of those things where it's just like, I think us living together has been so good for both of us, that it's just like, I'm so glad that's the way that worked out. And so like, I don't know, that kind of stuff brings me joy, I guess. What's my favorite Pittsburgh Sephora location? I worked in the South Hills Village. That was where I used to work, but it's not my favorite. My favorite one is the Ross Park Mall. only because of the brands it has. It's like, I think it's the biggest location. They have more brands than the others. The Shady Side location is cool because it's like a city one. Like it's so teeny tiny in there. So I just feel like I'm running into everything all the time. But when I worked at Sephora, I really liked the people who worked at the Shady Side location. They were always very, very kind to me. And I always feel like they're very nice to me when I go in there now, even though like I'm a little bit farther removed. I don't know that everyone who still works there like knows who I am. But not that I'm expecting them to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things. So if you're in Pittsburgh, go to the Ross Park one. Any more creator recs? I've fallen madly in love with Cam and Stephanie. Oh my God. Okay. If you don't know Cam and you don't know Stephanie, Cam is Cloveroom on YouTube. They're amidst like a no, I think it's a no buy with a replacements only no buy. And they're another trans non-binary character. Content creator. So you should absolutely be following them. I have become very good friends with Cam. Cam is someone who has my phone number. Isn't that crazy? You know, I'm now making friendships across YouTube. So go follow them. And then Stephanie is currently, the current journey that Stephanie's on is doing Adagio Beauty. She did a no buy last year, replacements only no buy last year, and she is now navigating and trying to figure out the makeup that she has, what works for her and what doesn't. And then whenever she realizes that something doesn't work for her, like if everything that she has isn't working exactly the right way, how to make it better. It's great. Also, the video and audio quality on Stephanie's videos are absolutely insane. And sometimes she writes original music for her content. I pen you. Oh my God, Stephanie. And I've said this before, and I'm not, this isn't to make anyone, Stephanie is my favorite content. Like, I'm so glad Stephanie is an OG Hody. By the way, she used to comment on like all of my videos. And then I watched her channel because I realized that she was a content creator. She's one of my favorite I just love her. Brittany, Born Blushing. Again, I just mentioned her in Critical Sass, but I think she's worth mentioning again. She is, you know, on a low buy journey. She loves luxury makeup. She has her hand much further in it than I like. We're talking Sisley, you know, Sisley skincare, Biologique, you know, all she knows her stuff. Okay. She's out here really doing the Chanel of it all. She's just, you know, but she does it in a slow fashion. You know, she's not buying all of the new releases. She's a very keen eye for what's good and what isn't. She's very discerning. She's also someone I've become very good friends with through being on YouTube. She's also an OG Hody and has become a content creator after, like, you know, within the last year, she started making content and putting on YouTube. So I love that. I love that she's almost at 1,000. She's incredible. She's so funny. She's like literally so funny. You must go watch Brittany. Seeking Shifts, also known as Riley, also known as Seeking Shifts. If you want to know more about indie eyeshadows and see a lot of comparisons to indie eyeshadows, that's your person. You gotta go see Riley, Seeking Shifts. She's also on Instagram, but she's also making YouTube content now too. If you like overhead footage, that's like a main component of what Riley does. And her lighting setup gives me a headache every time she posts about it on Instagram. And every time she does, I'm like, I can't, my brain just explodes. Like she knows what she's doing. If you like multi-chromes, if you like shifty eyeshadows, Riley. It's right. It must be Riley. Okay. If you also like kind of a combination of all the things we've been talking about, my friend Ivy, also known as Face Forward here, she does some like BYO content. She does some get ready with my content. She's also someone who's trying to be very discerning about what she brings in to her makeup collection. And we also became friends because I don't know if she made content before we started talking, at least on YouTube. She was definitely posting on Instagram, but we became friends somewhere along the way where she commented, you know, and then I put two and two together that we were also following each other on Instagram. So Ivy's really great. This is like all off the top of my head, so I'm trying really hard. I will link some Instagram accounts and some YouTube accounts of some smaller creators if you're looking for new people to meet. That was who I thought of off the top of my head. And if I didn't think of off the top, Queer Bones, Colin. If you're not following Colin, I feel like a lot of you might be following Colin. Colin loves eyeshadow. If these people all love eyeshadow way more than me, so if you are looking to learn about eyeshadow, these people follow anybody. These people who visit me. Oh my God, I'm choking. I'm dying. But yeah, Colin is very analytical about the way they approach reviewing things, and you also see a lot of the things they're not always chasing popularity. And what I mean by that, I'm not like by people following them. I mean by like they review some products that I would be like, I would never touch that with a 10-foot pole, and then they're out there telling me that it's great. Also, like I've become friends with Colin. Oh God, that's a great part about being part of the YouTube little universe is that I've really appreciated being able to pay it forward in some way. Like last time I mentioned Cam, their subscribers went up a lot. And again, I know that I'm pointing you in Cam's direction, but you're staying because of what Cam is doing. And if I ever shout someone out, you never have to feel like so utterly grateful to me. Just pay it forward whenever you're able to. Because I feel like Hannah paid it forward to me. Kackie has paid it forward to me. Like a lot of other people have paid it forward to me. I would hope to be that. And also, if you have any content creators on YouTube that I didn't mention, specifically if you have like BIPOC, queer, non-binary people to recommend to us, because that the algorithm doesn't always favor us. So let us know down below, and that way we will all be able to find them. I will, as people are adding them, I will update the description so I can add the person and that we can all go follow them. Okay, all right. So let's all help each other out finding some new content creators. What is one makeup item you can't live without? I say this all the time. MAC Fix Plus is the only thing that I have used the entire time that I have done makeup. What were you like in high school? I was troubled. Not in like I was doing bad things. I was internally troubled, struggling, very sad, deeply confused. Never have soup again or never have sandwiches. Soup. I hate soup. Can't live without a chicken parm sandwich. I also have been eating a lot of like deli meat recently, like deli meat sandwiches. And I've been like really enjoying it. It's like I'm in high school again, packing a lunch, but I'm just making it at home. But I now throw it in the oven. I warm it up. I am my own Subway. And I take myself places. I think this is the perfect question to end on. I know I've been chatting you up for quite some time now. So I was asked, how do I find people to talk about makeup? I feel like I have thoughts that I want to share, and my friends are awesome and will listen, but it's not the same. My recommendation to you is if you feel like making content, if you want to make a YouTube channel, you just do it. You scream into the void. People will find you eventually. And then you'll be screaming into the void, and then people who share your opinions or oppose your opinions will eventually find them and start, having those conversations. I think I see the most, if you are someone who has like a private Instagram, make a public Instagram, make it your makeup Instagram. Start following other makeup accounts. In no time, you'll be able to share thoughts, feelings about makeup with people who are listening and will interact with you. I think that YouTube is harder than I think it is to find people on Instagram who will listen and pay attention to you, because there's like an active, thriving, very small beauty community on Instagram. I'm happy to be adjacent to it. I share a lot of my thoughts and opinions for here because like this is where I like to do that. But I follow so many people over on Instagram. Like I said, I'll leave some other like Instagram creators, but like, yeah, make a public Instagram, makeup. I like, not in a rude way, like in a very good way. A lot of times I have found that when like a makeup, like whenever you're a small makeup account, you're following other small makeup accounts, it's kind of like a follow for follow situation. And then eventually, you start making a little bit of groundwork name for yourself. But you do have to like post something on the grid, whether you're doing flat lays or whatever, just to make something there for people to look at. But pop off in your stories whenever you start having followers. And I think that's the best way to do it. Or you could go on Reddit. I would avoid beauty guru chatter. I have never really been on beauty guru chatter. So I don't know if they talk about makeup or if they're just talking about the people who talk about makeup. But there has to be Reddits where you just talk about the makeup and it's about the makeup and not about the people who talk about makeup. There's certainly avenues for that, and I'm sure people on Reddit would have a lot to say back to you in any kind of fashion. I think I hit every question, and this is a very long video, so I hope you enjoyed your coffee or whatever you were drinking or doing whenever you were watching this, folding laundry. I hope all your tasks are done. Anyway, thank you all so much for getting me to 5K. I really appreciate it. It feels incredible. It feels so good. I feel very lucky to have all you here. But that's that. I'm not going to harp too long. I need to work out. Tiffany is coming home later, and we were going to have drinks together, which they don't normally drink. So it's It's a little bit whoop whoop party in the Hope Mess house. Remember to follow your hope, and you will find me. I will see you in a video very soon. Bye bye.